Most people mixing music are scared to mix with beat stems, and I'm going to show you today why you shouldn't, why you should actually want to mix with beat stems. I'm Macro from Mixing with Macro. I'm a professional mixing and mastering engineer, and I've mixed for Central CEE, Skepta, Quavo, a lot of different artists, a lot of independent artists as well. I got an opportunity to work on this song while I was sitting next to the producer, and he was able to give a lot of direction. Quick backstory, we're in the studio. I think the artist came and left early. I think the artist only stayed for like an hour, and what happened is that I was there and I just told him like, all right, cool, I'm here, bro, is there anything else you want to work on? He says, yes, I have this Central CEE song that's been sitting on his computer that needs mixing. He just never got around to sending it out to mix and master. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's pull it up. And I did the record. So I'm gonna play you the rough mix. I think we did this song in about 30 minutes from start to finish, and that doesn't include setting it up, putting in my Pro Tools system and all that stuff. But like once we got to the mixing part of it, it was about 30 or so minutes. We got it from sounding like this
trying to get paper. I don't really care if they mention my name or give me my props as long as I'm paid,
to sounding like this.
Cause most of my peers in prison. My guy committed a serious drilling. The only man that I fear is God.
All right, so I'm gonna show you why that is, and it's mainly because we had the stems. Like I said, the producer was there with me, so I'm like, all right, cool. I could have easily said, hey, send me the 2-track, and then we just work from there. However, he had a specific request. He's like, you know what? He's a great producer. Don't get me wrong. This is one of the best producers I've worked with. He can make almost any style of music, and he's really, really good at it. But this particular record, he's like, all right, well, it's sounding good. I like the way it sounds, but I just wanted to hit harder. So with that in mind, I'm like, all right, cool. Because I already know what I was going to do with Central CEE's vocals when I heard the song. But when he gave me that specific detail, that's when I was like, all right, cool, send me the stems. So he sent me everything separate. So all the stuff here is just percussion, all that deal, and everything that he wants to hit, he's talking about that low end punch. So he's talking about this stuff. I'm like, all right, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. So I got all the stems. I made sure that all the percussion sound nice. It's, you know, I didn't do too much because I trust a good producer's ear. When they make a beat, I trust that they're using amazing sounds for an artist to envision themselves rapping on that beat and then actually executing that. So once I got all the percussion stuff out the way, it's like, all right, I'm not gonna do too much because it's already sounding good. I focus a lot of my time and energy on the low end, so I made sure everything knocked. Now with that in mind, I used the knock plugin to get everything the way it sounds. Now specifically, I want to focus on this area, which is the synth bass. The synth bass carries a good chunk of the tail end of this song. You can see it stretches over 4 bars here. So when you listen to it,
cause some of my dogs still scheming. Your suit and tie can't colonize me. I'll put on my tracksuit at any occasion. Came in the scene and put the UK on a map, but nobody gave me praises.
Right, so let me just mute Central CEE for right now. So you had 2 versions of it. All right, so you had this one in green, the kick on top of it. Okay, so with those 3 elements, I'm thinking to myself, how I'm gonna make the 3 of them work together, because yes, they're different. These are 2 different basses, but I don't want it to sound like when this one ends and this bass begins, it sounds like 2 separate basses in a whole different world. You know what I mean? I just want it to sound still cohesive, even though the sound changes. And for me, like, just to be clear, like, I just made sure that these have the right amount of distortion, because like I said before, the sound already sounds good. So I don't need to do too much. That's where a lot of mistakes happen, where you get a request like, oh, I just needed to hit harder. And then you think to yourself that you have to do all these magical tricks to like make it sound even harder. If the sound is good already, you don't need to do much. That's where your taste comes in and your discretion. You don't need to do much to make it hit even harder, just slight tweaks, right? And when it comes to his vocal, I didn't do a whole lot at all, just some de-essing. I didn't even have any effects on this, no delays, no reverbs or anything on this. It's just processing on his vocal, make sure the beat bangs, and that's it. That doesn't mean that I didn't turn these on to hear what they sound like. I just heard it and I decided that it didn't need it because he's just going hard, the beat's hard, and I felt like the beat's so dense and the synth bass is so dense in itself that I didn't need to push his vocal even more back, you know? So I literally just gonna run through his vocal chain real quick, which is not a whole lot.
Fuck your suit and tie, can't colonize me, I'll put.
Turn on his vocal really quick with the trim plugin. I did some minimal EQ there because the recording it's been a good recording here. His vocals weren't distorted. I did get this. You could just tell by looking at it. I heard it, but you could tell by just looking at it that this vocal here is very consistent. If you could see, the recording is very consistent. It's not really a lot of high places or low places, right? So it's very consistent overall. So with that in mind, it's like, all right, well, I don't need to compress this. I just need to bring it up a little. I have my compressor here, the R compressor by Waves.
Fuck your suit and tie, can't colonize me, I'll put on my tracksuit at any occasion. Came in a scene and put the UK on a.
Barely touching it, like it's just kissing it a little bit. Then I de-essed it.
Fuck your suit and tie, can't colonize me, I'll put on my tracksuit at any occasion. Came in a scene and.
Then I add the lo-fi just to add some little bit of density. Then I have this plugin here to add a little bit of brightness.
Fuck your suit and tie, can't colonize me, I'll put on my tracksuit at any occasion.
That's a free plugin by Slate Digital, and I turned it down even more because it was a little bit high, a little bit hot. I don't like, just this is like a personal thing, I don't like to have this gain level too low, you know what I mean? I'd rather it be at a good level here, and if I need to turn it down, then I'll turn it down at a later stage, and that's what I did here with this trim plugin. Then I have the SSL EQ, pushing a little bit of lows because the vocal was a little thin for me if you listen to the rough.
Studio trying to get paper, I don't really care if they mention my name or give me my props as long as I'm paid. Snakes in the grass, I can hear them hiss.
You know, I wanted to add just a tiny a bit of body to it. Then I had the L2 here, and L2 gives you some more volume. Because the vocal was compressed, I knew that when I bring this up, I wouldn't be bringing up too many quiet parts. Yes, you have these little breaths in the middle, but like, as raw as this track is, like, that wasn't really a big concern.
Fuck your suit and tie, can't colonize me, I'll put on my tracksuit at any occasion. Came in a scene and put the UK on a map, but nobody gave me praises. Lucky for me, I'm not here.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not really too much of an issue to add a little bit of L2. So if I bypassed it,
fuck your suit and tie, can't colonize me, I'll put on my track.
Just puts it a little bit more in your face. Usually I like to use the RVox for that particular purpose. But in this case, you know, I didn't even use the RVox. It was because it's already compressed. I just needed to like bring up the volume. So yeah, and then I did a little bit of throws here and there.
God. These women, I just put my baby only man that God. These women.
Wasn't too crazy, just little things here. I had a doubler on here.
Cause most of my peers in prison. My guy cause most of my peers in prison.
Very easy, very simple stuff. I really didn't do too much. Remember, this is like, we did this in like 30 minutes. It's not because we had to do it in 30 minutes. It was just, it was locked in. Like, imagine we had the artist there. The artist is like, yo, I'm gonna go shopping. It's their first time in New York, so they left an hour into the session. It was a nice little meet and greet, but I'm there to work. I'm just like, you know what? Like, what else you got? And then it's boom, he had this, and I'm like, cool, let's do it. And I just did it. He was satisfied. I was satisfied with it. I felt really good how this record turned out. When it's gonna come out, don't know, but you have exclusive access here. Don't ask me to send this to you. I'm not gonna send it to you, but like, you know, this is the permission from the producer. He says it's cool, you could break it down and make a video out of it. So, you know, I shouts out to him for that because he's really good. And yeah, this is the type of thing on my channel. Like, just a side note, on my channel, it's like I work on a lot of big records and a lot of records that haven't been released. In the beginning of my videos, I make these claims like, yo, I've worked with so many people and blah, 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 which is true. A lot of the songs, however, don't come out for various reasons. It's the music industry, so there's various reasons why things don't come out. And as an engineer, it's not like you're sworn to secrecy, but it's kind of like an unspoken thing where it's just like, all right, cool, we're here, we're making these songs. And, you know, it's not my job to like pop out and just, I don't know if you've seen it, but a lot of engineers lately have been, and even producers, they have been breaking out songs that came out years ago. I think I did this song like months ago, like the top of the year. So with that in mind, I just want to give you guys a little bit of taste of some of the stuff that I work on, and also, you know, give you some tips that you can try in your music. And also, if you're looking for someone who really understands how to bring a record into fruition based on the scenario, then you could check my description and you can talk with me right there. You can check out my mixing and mastering service there. And if you have more questions about that specifically, my mixing and mastering service, on my website there is a chat function. You'll be able to send me a message right there and it comes straight to me, and we could talk about your music. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show you here today, guys. I appreciate you sticking to the end. If you want me to break down anything more specific, like, all right, well, let us know how you got the vocal to sound so shiny but not so harsh, or how did you get the beat to bang without it sounding distorted, or what did you do to the percussion that made it sit so well, you know, like whatever, like how do you handle like backgrounds? I have videos, but my process does evolve over time. However, it's not a far cry from the template that I have in the description. It is very, very close. The only difference is I work on lots of different songs from lots of different artists. So yes, my template is one way I be consistent across the board, because it's a workflow and a system that I developed over many years of working with different styles of artists and styles of music. However, there are a lot of nuances that come with time, that come with more experience. You can literally get my template right now and plug your song in there, and it would sound way better than a lot of the stuff that you probably have been mixing, or a lot of the stuff that's out there already. That's a confidence I have in what I'm offering in my description. My system, my Pro Tools template, I know it will help you. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from it, and you can see that it works on the highest level artists, and also it works on independent artists as well. But that's it, my friend. I'll see you in the next video.